Hi there, this is Carol King, the founder and developer of Custom Homebuilders Solutions, also known as CHS, a powerful accounting and job costing program to help you handle all of your project management and your accounting needs in a home building business. This video will introduce you to our very unique income statement or profit and loss statement that will organize and total the financial data within the income statement by job. That way it can provide a clear view of each job's net contribution during the selected period, helping you analyze profitability with ease. Of course, CHS also includes standard income statements that group and total financial data by traditional categories, such as sales, cost of sales, general and administrative expenses, other income, and other expenses. The job-grouped income statement, however, uses the same financial data but subtotals amounts by job rather than by financial category, giving you a very different perspective on your company's financial performance based on the amounts contributed by each and every job. And because the job-grouped income statement is based on the very same data as the standard income statement, it will also include amounts assigned to the generic H job, which is used in CHS to mark accounting records that are not tied to a specific job. You can think of this as your internal overhead job, capturing company-wide expenses and income that are not directly linked to individual projects. It can be useful to review those overhead H job amounts. So of course, there's one critical step before generating any income statement. Before running an income statement for a selected period, it's very important to verify that earned income and job costs for long-term projects have been properly accounted for in the appropriate financial statements. This means ensuring that revenue received or earned during the period is correctly recorded in a sales account, or that job costs, whether completed or still in progress, are accurately posted to a cost of sales account, depending on whether or not you are using a completed contract or percentage of completion method. CHS offers some awesome user-friendly tools to streamline this process either way. You can close completed jobs on a screen to finalize all associated costs and revenues and let CHS make that journal entry for you, or CHS can generate periodic journal entries based on the percentage of completion method to accurately reflect revenue and expenses for the period. Taking these steps ensures your income statement accurately represents your financial position, preventing misstatements in job profitability. So what I'd like to do really quick is back up in time and show you the couple of things that were just mentioned about either closing the job using the tools that CHS has or posting a percentage of completion journal entry using the tools that CHS has for you. I'm going to back up real quick and show you how I got the numbers that were on the income statement for each of those jobs. This is the screen where I've asked for the income statement grouped by jobs using this button right here, and here it is, and this is after I did the journal entries I'm about to do. Actually, I'm kind of backing up and just jumping back in time to go do the Campman one here and also the closed job one here, Vista View 3812. So let's jump back and go back here. So let's first go to where we close jobs right here under this section, job closing JEs, and I have a job I know I want to close, and I'm playing like it's closed on October 15th, 2021, and we are looking at the year 2021 for all of this, and the job that I'm interested in is this Vista View 3812 address here, so let me select that one. But what I'd like to show you is that we continue to the job closing window here, and you will see anything with a balance on balance sheet accounts for this job, so that you can move these amounts. Since the job has closed, we want to clear these amounts off the balance sheet and onto our income statement. So we do a create JE for the work in progress direct construction costs, which I know I want to go to cost of sales single family home. I want to take it out of this account, direct construction cost, send it as a debit to cost of sales, and create a little journal entry for that. And then that turns to 0, so now I want to do this one that's in contract deposits, which I know is revenues, and I want to clear that directly to sales for single family homes, put a credit here and a debit here, create journal entry, turn that amount to 0, telling me that that amount went out to the income statement. And another one for customer draws or interim draws that we got is turning out to be revenues on that. So sales single family home would be my credit. So I'll create the journal entry. I'll say okay, okay, and close. Then it's asking me right here, do I want to update the job status to closed on the above date? And I will do that because that's the date I put in, because that is the date the job closed. Okay. And if we jump over to our list of journal entries and I refresh it, you'll see that there's one in here, close Vista View 3812. And I can look at the batch report and I can see the entries. You can see my debits and credits going on and how they total to 0. If you want to study what these GL accounts are and the total adjusting journal entry that got made in order to get that job closed from the balance sheet accounts to the income statement accounts. That's for closing a whole job. You can either use that on completed contract method, or if you're doing percentage of completion, then you'll come along and you'll get your trial balance like that, but it may show a couple other accounts you're using for percentage of completion that you can then close out on that same window that we were on for closing the job. Now let's jump to the percentage of completion, and that I have put in the year, the whole year, because I want to just do a percentage of completion journal entry for the whole year because I haven't been doing it a month at a time, which is the most common way to do it. And then I ask for just ones of the type custom because I want to look at the percentage of completion worksheet, which I've already opened. So it showed me all custom ones that had any sort of activity during this time. You can see job cost to date incurred going on. They may be small ones, they may not be ones I want to deal with right now, but I can take a look at them. And I've decided that I do want to do a percentage of completion journal entry for Campman. And what I'd like you to do is see that if I say I want to just search for Campman, I can clear out those other ones so it's easier to look. So now I'm just seeing this one. So what happens with percentage of completion is CHS, it will show you what current period actual costs have been incurred, and if you drill down, you'll notice that the dates on all of these over here are during 2021, so during the year of 2021, and you can get the detail behind those costs. So that's the actual costs that were posted. It also will show you what the current estimated cost at completion are for the job. In other words, that's a number that can be changing from your original budget. So if you drill down on it, and notice that this number right here, 1185, is the same number on our worksheet, 1185 on the ECC, but it has been changed from our original budget, which is this number right over here, 1177. But if you start scrolling, you can probably spot things that are causing that. For one thing, framing labor is showing 5,066 over the original budget. It automatically adjusted by CHS when we put in a PO for this amount higher than the budget. Then the estimated cost at completion, of course, would have changed to the PO because that's a committed cost. You can also type in things, but also you can go ahead and mark that the actual costs that have come in are done by putting a check mark here. Well, we went ahead and marked that this 0 costs that have happened are done, that we're not expecting any more for framing labor extras. So we made the ECC change to 0 by check marking this one. So now this one's under by 2,000. And then there's other things going on. You can see a minus 1169 up here and some other things that you can get a summary of all those by clicking this button down here and see just which ones are causing the over and under amount, which is a pretty cool tool. But for our business right now, as far as a percentage of completion, I just wanted you to know that these costs can be changing over time. So CHS is very smart, as soon as you open the percentage of completion, at being able to bring in your estimated cost of completion. And to figure out the percent complete, CHS will take the job cost to date incurred divided by the estimated cost at completion and come up with a percent. Then what it will do for you automatically when you open this, you're not filling these in, is it will take this price that it's calculating right now for the job and multiply it times that percent complete and come up with the job to date revenue earned or the current period revenue earned. These two numbers, this 117 is going to be our cost that we send to cost of sales, and the job to date revenue earned or the current period revenue earned for this just this year the same job to date and current period because we haven't had any before. These are going to be the numbers you see on the income statement when we do a journal entry. By the way, the price can be changing based on the type of job and other things going on. You can drill down on it to see how it's changing. First of all, we initially put a fixed price of this minus the job budget to get a 20% estimate. Then our revised price is taking that fixed price plus the change order prices plus some allowance over under adjustment that CHS is real smart about doing based on how you mark things. You can look at other things about allowance and then coming up with the current revised price today. This is the big difference in doing construction versus regular other accounting, is that your current price can be changing and your estimated cost can be changing all the time as you go, making everything so complicated. But CHS takes care of helping you with that. And so it's using those numbers to come up with the best estimate it can do for what we need for our percentage of completion journal entry. And it very simply lets you create a journal entry. And it remembers the last GL numbers that you said you wanted things to be posted to. If you watch our percentage of completion videos, you will see that we have some contra accounts to hold how much we send to sales and to hold how much we send to cost of sales out of our work in progress, and the total of these contra accounts will show us on the balance sheet how much we've already sent to sales and cost of sales. That takes a little more explanation, and you should watch our videos about percentage of completion. But if I click to continue to create the JE, you're going to see how quickly it has the JE ready for posting, and if I post that, it's going to be posted for us and it's all done. And it gives you a picture of that journal entry batch that it just made that you could print if you like. So that entry has been made, and that means that when we go back to our financials and do the income statements, profit and loss, and ask for this one, you see those numbers that we were talking about for Campman are over here as sales and cost of sales, and the numbers for the closed out job that had the sales for this amount less this amount have landed on our income statement grouped and totaled by job, which is all of those things that we have just gone over is something you cannot easily find in a generic accounting software that's not specifically designed to handle all of these job costing uniquenesses that custom home builders have. So speaking of uniquenesses and how unique CHS is, let's take one more glance at that financial statement or income statement grouped by jobs, and how CHS will also let you automatically drill down to the detail behind those. So let's do financial statements. Let's do income statements. I've typed in the year 2021 from the beginning to the end. I also went over here and clicked this load min-max job codes because I want to see all jobs from the beginning to the end of my list of jobs. But if I wanted to narrow it down to maybe say only my property management jobs or something, I really could do the ones that I started with PM, from this PM1 to the PM Gibson, or some other little range of jobs. But normally you'll probably just want the min and max jobs from the beginning to the end, the lowest one in the alphabet to the latest one in the alphabet. And then when I click income statement grouped by jobs, you're going to see that here's the income statement we've been looking at, grouped by jobs right here, and you can export it to PDF for a very nice printout of it. And you'll see the job Campman and the other jobs that were there before I even did the various journal entries I just showed you. But look here, right down here, we can be looking at those numbers. So here's that H job we talked about a while ago, and you can drill down on what's making up the numbers in your H job. You know, you could look at the telephone expense and say, well, here's how much my telephone bill has been costing or whatever, drill down on the detail. If you're reviewing the generic H job for a bunch of overhead stuff. But look at our Campman job. If I drill down on what the sales are, you can see it says percentage complete sales recognized, which we just did a minute ago, and you could look back on that to see. But it lets us know that with this job, we are doing percentage complete journal entries to get things to the income statements. In cost of sales, the same way, you can see percentage complete cost of sales recognized. Now, if I drill down on our other job, down here, our other custom home job that we took care of a minute ago, and I look at sales, You can see that it says job closing entry for Job Vista View and job closing entry. Remember, we had two lines that had to do with revenues that we sent to sales. So under sales, we see both of those here, and it tells us we closed this job on this date. See how it says close? So it gives us some detail there, and we can tell that we also sent the cost of sales in the job closing entry to here. So it lets you know, how did these numbers get on the income statement? For example, this sales remodeling that we didn't do in this video, you can see that they've been collecting money or billings for the remodeling job, and you can look at that and you can see that that's an AR, accounts receivable journal over here, and get clues about the detail. Or if you want to see the costs of that remodeling, you can see the various GL dates, vendors you've been paying, descriptions, and amounts that make up that cost. So that's another very powerful tool and searching feature and filtering feature that CHS has to get things broken down by job and by GL number, maybe by vendor, maybe by various things, but it is a powerful job costing program that gives you the detail that you need to run your custom home building business. Thank you so much for watching.